Life Audio.
Welcome to the Team Us podcast, where we share how grace, commitment, and cooperation can help couples live the everyday moments of marriage together. Hey everyone, we are Ted and
Ashley Slater. Today we share 5 super practical must-read books that will encourage, challenge, and inspire you and your spouse in your marriage. So Ted, today
Yes, my dear.
We are going to share 5 must-read marriage books.
Okay.
But first, I have to admit to our listeners that I've been doing a lot of reading lately, and it's not marriage books.
Well, you've been reading some marriage books as well, but you've been reading other stuff too.
Yes, but for the last 2 weeks, I've been reading upper middle grade fantasy books.
That's okay. I listen to upper middle school pop music.
That's true. Yeah, one of our daughters loved the series Keeper of the Lost Cities when she was younger.
Yeah.
And she decided to reread them because the author is going to be at a pop culture convention we go to every year.
Yes.
And so,
so
I
cool.
decided I was going to read them for the first time. And
how many books?
Oh, there's like 9.5.
Yeah.
That's weird, right? 9.5.
It's kind of weird.
But I've been hooked for the last 2 weeks. And like these books are huge. I just started book 6 yesterday, I think.
Right.
Or
how many pages are, what's the longest?
Oh, they're like, the longest might be 800 pages. I mean, okay, so I did some calculating. And it turns out with the first 5 books, I read a little over 3,000 pages.
Okay. So this episode is encouraging our readers to read 3,000-page books or series?
No, I'm just admitting that I enjoy
lengthy stories.
Youth fantasy stories.
That's great.
Yeah. So
what else do you like to read?
Well, lots of stuff.
Marriage books?
Yes, I do read marriage
That
books.
was a softball.
Right. Well, okay. So enough then about upper middle grade fantasy books.
Which are awesome.
Yes, let's talk about marriage books.
All right.
And today we're sharing 5 books I consider must-reads. Awesome. And some of these you have read or you've read parts of them and others you haven't. But what I think all 5 have in common is that they're super practical. And for those of you listening, if you've listened to the podcast for a while, you know we love practical.
Practical.
So we're going to take a short break. When we return, we'll share those must-read marriage books.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. They include loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we hold in our hearts. At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than just money. We help you put your plans into motion and faith into action so you can do more for the ones in your heart. Because sometimes all you need to make a difference is someone to help you make it happen. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
So today we're sharing 5 must-read marriage books. You ready for number 1?
I think I know what number 1's going to be.
Okay, tell me.
The 5 love languages.
Yes.
Because, that's classic and solid, and you should just know it.
Right, and it's that's a popular pick.
Yeah.
So, those listening might already be familiar with it, but it's popular for a reason.
Absolutely. It's been popular for decades.
Oh, really, really long time.
It's a good book.
Yeah. Learning your own love language and your spouse's love language is a practical way to improve marriage.
Absolutely. Give me tacos and I'm happy.
Which one does that fit under? Well, first, okay. So a love language, as defined by Dr. Chapman,
yes,
who's the author of the book, is the way people speak and understand emotional love. And in his research, Dr. Chapman discovered there are 5 primary love languages. You tell me which one taco goes under after I read them. Because maybe food should be the 6th one. Words of affirmation.
Yes.
Quality time.
Okay.
Receiving gifts. Acts of service. And physical touch.
Those are great. Tacos fits in there somewhere because you're touching a taco and you're telling you love it, and it's all these.
Well, maybe acts of service, like I go buy you a taco, and then I give it to you, and you're receiving gifts. Although gifts is not one of your love languages.
No, but taco.
Taco. Now I'm just going to want tacos. Well, this book explains each of those and unpacks why it's important we learn how to speak the love language of our spouse.
And it's very practical, not only for knowing how you are built up, how your love cup is filled with one or more of these love languages, and how you can express your love in a way that is received and understood and appreciated maybe by your spouse.
Yeah, well, and I think that sometimes spouses speak different love languages and they want to try to love their spouse with their own love language rather than figuring out what their spouse's love language is. Mm-hmm. And so there can be this not feeling like we're loved even though our spouse is trying to love us.
Right.
So a few years ago, you actually came up with a practical way for us to kind of measure how we were doing with this.
Yeah.
You made like this little chart with the love languages. And like,
just print it off on paper.
There was like a scale or...
And I stuck it to a piece of metal and we had these magnets and you could sort of put the magnet in sort of the this chart where you feel as far as your love cup, as it were. So
love tank.
Love tank. So like if I was feeling like I feel affirmed, then it could be I could put the little magnet up at the 10, or if I'm not feeling very affirmed, I could put it down near the 3. And you could take a look at it and be like, how are we doing here, Ted? I need to do better with this.
Right. And we still have that chart. We just haven't put it up because we didn't take that magnet board off the wall of our house when we moved. So we need a new magnet board.
Yeah.
Okay. You ready for number 2?
I am.
Okay. This is actually a set of books. And it's For Women Only by Shaunti Feldhahn and For Men Only by Shaunti and Jeff Feldhahn.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
I read part of the For Women Only book.
Well, I read part of For Men Only. I think it's actually beneficial to read both of them.
Right. It's a sneak peek.
Right. And when we lived in the Atlanta area, we spent around 5 years being premarital mentors for engaged couples at our church, where we'd meet weekly for about 10 weeks with the couple. Mm-hmm. And while For Women Only and For Men Only weren't the primary resource we worked through with the couples, they were supplemental ones. And I actually found them to be more helpful than the primary one.
It's true. Yeah.
So that's how we were first introduced to these books.
Yep. She's a great author.
Oh, yeah. These books are what made me a huge fan of her work because she's a social researcher. And these books, as well as other books, she's based on rigorous research.
Yeah.
So I remember the first time I read For Women Only, I had many aha moments like that helped me try to better understand how your mind works. Doesn't mean I've always practiced what I learned well, but I'm continually trying.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with those books.
No. And I'm going to give one example just to get listeners going, ooh, I do need to read that book.
Yeah.
One thing that stood out to me is in chapter 4 of For Women Only, she talks about how men often have to think something through before they can talk it through, whereas women are more verbal processors.
Let me think about that.
So she shares that it can take men up to 7 hours more than women to process complex emotional data. And when I read that, I went, oh, so many of our arguments make sense now.
Because I need time to have an internal monologue, dialogue, conversation.
Yeah, where you would get flustered and not know how to talk about it.
It's true, yeah.
So I found that super helpful.
And you can verbally process, but I really can't because I make no sense sometimes when I'm verbally processing. So it's... Yeah.
Right. Well, and she was saying, too, that men kind of have to do one thing at a time.
That's me.
The internal processing first and then the talking about it. It's really fascinating. Mm-hmm. And both of these books are just filled with a bunch of insights.
So practical.
Like that. Okay. So number 3, The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work by John M. Gottman and Nan Silver. And I've mentioned this book on the podcast before because I just read this year. Actually, I haven't quite finished it. But I was wandering Barnes & Noble while some of our daughters were in rehearsal and it caught my eye. So this one is based on research too. Mm-hmm. And the 7 principles for making marriage work that arose during that research are, this is just to kind of get people interested.
And you're going to include this in the liner notes, right? Or the liner notes?
I'll include the names of the books. People can go to Amazon. They can look at the table of contents there. So the 7 principles include enhance your love maps, nurture your fondness and admiration, turn toward each other instead of away, let your partner influence you, solve your solvable problems, overcome gridlock, and create shared meaning.
Those are some cool phrases that I don't fully understand, but it sounds promising.
Yeah, well, and the book has exercises for each of these principles. Like, you and I need to start going through some of the exercises. Because I think as I was reading this book, 22 years into marriage, it helped me realize ways we could be connecting better and things I'm doing that I didn't realize I was doing that contribute to conflict. I mean, I have to admit, after I read the first few chapters, I came into you and I said, I feel depressed. I was like, whoa, I don't think we're as connected as we could be.
Whoa.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think I do. So the book helps you see that there's room for improvement, and then it helps provide some ideas on how to improve.
Right. And so I started kind of trying to do small things I read in it, and
Nice.
I noticed a difference, like asking you more questions so I can build a better love map. Love map is basically our deep knowledge of each other. So, yeah. And what I love is that in the opening chapters, Gottman says that friendship is the key to a strong, lasting marriage. He writes that friendship fuels the flames of romance because it offers the best protection against feeling adversarial toward your spouse. And I think friendship's something we've tried to build from the beginning, you know.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something funny to say, but nothing funny came to mind. I was thinking of, so we don't want any mystery or any unsolved, I have nothing to add. Sorry.
Yeah,
I was trying to
know.
be funny, but that's
Like,
it makes sense.
as far as the love map stuff.
Yeah.
I think it just helps you know, then when you're at the store, you go, I remember the story my spouse told me about how they loved this candy as a kid. Let me bring that home and show that
Are you
I
talking
remembered.
about Whoppers?
Yes, Whoppers. Or what did you take to the movie theater on your first date when you were like 12?
Oh, no. Certs. You know, the little candy, like whatever that's round thing you call that.
Yeah. I don't know. Just fun things that show, hey, I listened to you when you were talking to me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to take another short break. And when we return, we'll share 2 more must-read books.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. They include loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we hold in our hearts. At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than just money. We help you put your plans into motion and faith into action so you can do more for the ones in your heart. Because sometimes all you need to make a difference is someone to help you make it happen. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
Today we're sharing 5 must-read marriage books, and for number 4, we're back to Shaunti Feldhahn with The Surprising Secrets of Highly Happy Marriages. I'm discovering, as I've made this list, that I really like the research-based books.
Right.
That are practical, because this one, again, is research-based, and it's super practical.
Right. I mean, we've been Christians for quite a while. We've been exposed to a lot of ideas, relationship ideas and marriage ideas, and everybody's kind of got an opinion. And some of the opinion books or the sort of general books can be helpful, but when it's based on the research and, you know, actual findings rather than this is my intuition, as you say, it's very practical.
Yeah, well, I love to know, okay, so here's your concept. How can I actually practice it? How can I do it?
Absolutely.
So, and in this one, she shares how it's the little things that make a big difference. For example, one secret of highly happy marriages that she discovered is that they go to bed mad, which is something we've actually talked about on the podcast. We have a whole episode on that.
As opposed to staying up trying to work something through, you're okay putting a pause on it?
Yes. What she discovered was that happy couples found that not trying to fully resolve conflict at bedtime sometimes allowed them needed emotional space and actually helped boost marital happiness.
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Because, I mean, if you stay up late trying to resolve something, you could make things worse. Because you're tired, you may say something that you haven't fully thought through or that's not accurate. You're just trying to be mean or something.
Right. And she also says that instead of sticking to a rule about anger having to be resolved before a given time of night, the rule the happy couple stuck to was not to let stuff build up that would ultimately make them unhappy with each other later. So I think that's kind of what we've talked about, where it's like, don't sweep things under the rug. If you're going to wait to work through it till you're ready, know that the goal is you're going to come back and work through it.
Right. And I think this is consistent with the biblical admonition to not let the sun go down on your anger. You know, some people might say, oh, but the Bible says. But I think this is not contradictory to that concept.
No. And I mean, maybe that's a little more metaphorical than literal. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I found it works for us to not push it.
Secrets of Highly Happy Marriages.
Yes. All right. The last one is not actually a book. It's more of a marriage resource.
Oh.
But I had to sneak it on the list.
Sneak it on.
Okay. So it's the marriage course with Nicky and Sila Lee.
Okay.
I don't know if I said her name right. Anyway, it's a 7-week course, and we did it at our church. But if you're listening in a church in your area isn't doing it, couples can purchase it online and go through it together. What I really loved about this course is that even though it was in like a group context, most of the talking happened between you and me.
Oh, right.
And we had homework each week, and we go on date night and we do our homework.
So that could be a resource for small groups or a church or
Right.
just a couple.
Yeah, and I looked it up. You can just buy it as a couple. I think you can watch the videos online and order the workbooks. And I think it pushed us probably to communicate in areas where we don't always communicate so well. Mm-hmm. So I highly recommend that.
It's a good list.
Yeah. All right. Well, to recap, here are 5 must-read marriage books. 1, The 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman. 2, For Women Only by Shaunti Feldhahn and For Men Only by Shaunti and Jeff Feldhahn. 3, The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work by John M. Gottman and Nan Silver. 4, The Surprising Secrets of Highly Happy Marriages by Shaunti Feldhahn. And 5, The Marriage Course with Nicky and Sila Lee. And I will put that list of those books in the show notes. And then people can go look them up if they want to learn more about them. Okay, so for this week's Us Time Challenge, get one of these books and start reading it. And then maybe let us know, like either on Instagram, Facebook, or email which one you picked out and how it might be helping you as you read.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very practical.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us on the Team Us podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast, and we'd love to have you leave a review over at Apple Podcasts. We're looking forward to next time as we keep talking about how grace, commitment, and cooperation can help couples live the everyday moments of marriage together.
Team Us with Ted and Ashley Slater is a production of Life Audio and Salem Media. If you liked what you heard today, please take a second to rate and review the podcast in your favorite podcast app so that more listeners like you can find the show. For more faith-filled, inspirational podcasts, visit us at lifeaudio.com.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. They include loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we hold in our hearts. At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than just money. We help you put your plans into motion and faith into action so you can do more for the ones in your heart. Because sometimes all you need to make a difference is someone to help you make it happen. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.